19 has now gone down again. The daily deaths and the daily cases have gone down to it was before. Not when it was in February, but it was before. Today's daily cases says we're around like 500,000. No, currently it's around 200,000. So yeah, I'm gonna have to update this here. But have we finally beaten the evil COVID-19? Have we finally beaten it for all this time? Okay, but there are some glowing signs in another continent. You know which continent I'm gonna talk about. Not Asia, Africa. There are glowing signs of an outbreak coming in Africa. Even the World Health Organization is saying there's an urgent need to put vaccines in Africa as it may start in that continent again. But again, it's only like an increase in like countries of like 20 or 40 new cases a day. For example, Senegal, which is only confirmed 29 cases. A difference in like plus 10 cases is not really much. We compare it to what's happening in Uganda, which does not have any updated cases today. But yesterday confirmed 700. But there was a good relief. India's cases have gone down. In India's daily cases have only been around 126,000. So India's COVID crisis basically is over. Again, our COVID crisis only happened for a month, which started around November and ended around the end of December. But now the USA doesn't really confirm that many cases. Why we don't confirm that many cases is because of the COVID vaccine. The state that confirmed the most amount of new cases today was Illinois. Again, Florida, Ohio, and North Carolina have not confirmed their cases, or Michigan. But USA is on a downward trend, again, for active cases, which is a good thing. Our active cases are now around where they were before the new COVID crisis struck. So the vaccinations are doing something. Yes, there are some side effects of the vaccine, but the vaccine isn't really killing people as much as people think it is, as people will push conspiracy theories online about the COVID vaccine. But we can see here daily cases have went down for the United States. Now I'll go over other heavily vaccinated places. So first let's go over Europe. Go to Europe. So we have the vaccination map here. So Europe and Mongolia and Israel are some of the most vaccinated places in the world. Same thing of Arab Emirates and Qatar. And Bahrain. So let's see the COVID-19 cases in those countries. They don't have a vaccine data on here, but we can go to many of the most vaccinated places. So any places in the dark red. So Chile, Hungary, Serbia, Mongolia, UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, and Chile, and our examples. So let's go over Chile. So Chile is not really a good example here. This is Chile's COVID-19 here, but it has not really reached the peak of May to around of June. June and currently infected did, and it has stayed relatively the same. It has actually gone down, but actually has gone up. It's pretty weird in Chile, but I don't think Chile is the best example to follow. Same thing with Mongolia, which is also a conspiracy, is still a COVID-19 crisis of its own. So let's go to the countries that have successfully eradicated COVID-19. Countries with a lot of cases that successfully eradicated COVID-19, just like we did here. And yeah, the COVID-19 will have been defeated regardless of who's president in America, because COVID-19 was already created when Trump was president, so it's not making it into a political thing. But yeah, so you have countries like North Macedonia, 3 cases a day, Albania 6 cases a day, Iceland 10, Israel 17, Slovakia 31, and many other places in Europe have very low cases. Says Bosnia and Herzegovina 44, Armenia 44, Croatia, Moldova, Luxembourg, all around under 100. Estonia 59 new cases as well, and Slovenia is also further down this list. We only have, and still we're having lots of countries of over 1,000 cases a day. But Israel seems to be one of the biggest success stories out of the bunch. Here. This is Israel's graph, and Israel's daily new cases and daily active cases. Israel has effectively dealt with COVID-19, and that is because of the COVID vaccine. But conspiracy theorists will still tell you that the COVID vaccine does not work. Let's go to the most successful eradication of COVID-19 so far with the vaccine. And we don't even have to go to Israel or USA to see this. We just have to go to the really tiny area called Gibraltar. So Gibraltar is a very tiny place in Europe. This is Gibraltar's case rate. They have confirmed a couple of new cases since then, which are likely foreign cases, but likely are not residents that are already vaccinated. Because again, people who are unvaccinated from Europe, from the European Union, can sometimes still sneak into Gibraltar, which can still lead to still a couple of cases. Because people do lie a lot, so yeah, that could happen as well. But outside those isolated cases, Gibraltar has basically eradicated COVID-19. I really want to see what scientists will come up with in the coming years, in the coming decades. If we're able to eradicate a pandemic this quickly, where it took 3 years to get rid of the Spanish flu, I wonder what science can really do in the future. Maybe the next pandemic, which is aging, could be the next one eliminated. The number one cause of death worldwide, and the number one cause of death from COVID-19 has to do with the aging process. It's this, and other diseases such as cancer and other stuff like that. So, yeah, Europe has basically eradicated it, basically erased COVID-19 off the planet. Other very rich countries like Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain have eliminated. Let's look at a comparison between Bahrain and Qatar. So Bahrain confirmed 2,000. Meanwhile, Qatar only confirmed 228 cases. Despite this, Qatar has far less deaths than Bahrain and cases now. That is because Qatar has vaccinated a large portion of the country's population. Bahrain has as well. Actually vaccinated far more, so Bahrain's COVID thing, we don't know why it has resurged in Bahrain, but there is one concerning thing. Despite we have beaten COVID-19 in Europe and the Western world and other developed countries, there is one area of concern, and that is Africa. Africa is a concerning place as well because of how undeveloped Africa is. Africa already has a low case count, obviously due to lower testing because of how underprepared Africa really was. Africa likely has far higher cases than it really has. But we look at the daily cases, which countries have the biggest increase? You can really see which countries are here. So, yep, besides the few small countries, we have Uganda, Zambia, Seychelles, DRC, with Zimbabwe, and other places in Africa, Sierra Leone, Burundi, Eritrea, and many more, the Republic of the Congo, Liberia, Eswatini, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa, Senegal, Algeria. Do they have it by continent? Yeah, Africa. And yeah, almost half of all of Africa's countries have had an increase in COVID-19. There are still a lot that had a decrease in COVID-19, but are these countries down here. So it's not an end-all be-all. But this rise in cases in many countries like Uganda and Zambia and the DRC are kind of concerning. Same thing with the rise in cases in South Africa, which is kind of concerning because another outbreak started in South Africa and neighboring countries had to deal with South Africa's outbreak, which is always starting to happen with Namibia, Botswana, and several other countries that are by South Africa, such as Eswatini, as well as Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Zambia, and of course Namibia and Botswana. But the most concerning one is Uganda. And also, this is Africa's weekly death change as well. So Africa is pretty concerning. Meanwhile, Europe has basically eradicated COVID-19 outside, and most European countries having a massive decrease in cases. There are still concerning increases in the UK and UK territories, Malta, Portugal, Iceland, and Russia, where those last two are not really increases, and Isle of Man only confirming one case. But a majority of European countries are not really confirming that many cases. Another good percentage change is the US dropping in cases by 26%. Even Asia, a majority of Asian countries are having a massive decrease in cases, such as India and many other countries. So have we beaten COVID-19? Not just yet. We don't know the vaccine's real side effects and how a variant of COVID-19 might resurge that's resistant to the vaccine. Kind of like in play Gink, because again, COVID-19 could just mutate and say we're resistant, and basically say, yep, we're resistant to vaccine. We can now vaccinate. The vaccine is now resistant to us because COVID-19 is still a virus. It is still just a virus. It's still a virus. It's still pretty dangerous. But again, I think most people who have had doses of the vaccine, it will just simply be another flu. Not much different. So COVID-19 may not have the same death tolls. Does similar death tolls to your average flu year round. Which actually, the flu causes around 700,000 to 600,000 deaths a year, which is similar to COVID-19's death toll. Just wondering about that. Flu causes like 600,000, 700,000 deaths. The flu is worldwide, though. So that's basically it. So have we beaten COVID-19? Most likely we have, and the world can finally get back to normal. And sadly, the 3 million people who have not made it past COVID, 3.4 million people, and probably counting, that will not make it past COVID-19, and will never get to experience normal life ever again until they have to, of course. But again, they are in heaven, in a better place now. So that's basically it about this video. Goodbye.